Sandy, your first podcast.
I know. It's terrifying.
You can see yourself on the monitor.
It's so terrifying. And my posture's bad, y'all. Okay.
No, it's not your posture.
I feel like it is. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, you got to tell everybody what you're drinking.
Okay. So if you know me, and so I'm drinking a soda, which I'm not, as a health and fitness professional, I feel like this is bad, but I've done, I feel like I've earned enough a few sodas in my life, as much stuff as I've done. So if I want a soda, that's part of my scene. I just have a soda or whatever. There's no off limit things, at this point in my life.
That's one of the benefits. If you train hard and you can burn through calories or sugar pretty easily, you can have something like that.
Well, I tell, my clients, like, you got to get out of you got to lose weight business. We're getting in the save muscle. So a paradigm shift. Stop thinking about losing weight. Think about saving muscle. I don't work out as much. I work 4 hours a week. I tell everybody that. So everybody thinks I work out all the time. And I'm like, no, but I'm just a calorie burning machine all day, And so I try to make them think about, like, this isn't a big deal because my body will handle it because I've been doing my work and doing my business, to build muscle. And so all that is, a spin class, and you can drink that right back.
Yeah.
So
it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
How long have you been training for?
Well, I've been training myself. I mean, it was really weird when I was 15, when all the girls wanted to, be really thin. I wanted to look like the girls in Muscle and Fitness, which were really big girls. And I have no idea why. I have no idea why I was drawn to that. And so when I was 15, I made my mom drive me to the gym, and I walked in and I brought the magazine, and I did exactly what they did in the magazine, right? So that's how I started, like, in deciding I really like fitness.
Do you remember what your first routine was like? Can you remember?
It was so bad. It was all, and I had an all white jumpsuit on. I had on white sweatpants and a white sweatshirt. It was the worst. I remember the outfit.
Yeah.
And I've lived in Austin my whole life. It's at the YMCA on First Street, that everyone's been going to. It's old. And there was a basement down there. Yeah. And it was me and just all grumpy old dudes at the YMCA. And I was in all white. And I think it was like a bicep routine. And I remember just reading the magazine and doing the reps. And like, that was just, and then, but it was such a good experience to be a female and get into, go into a space that's sort of either really scary or it was like, I just wanted, for some reason I was drawn to that sort of like scary. And so, but I do have a lot of clients, I'm sure you do too now, where it is scary, and I forget how intimidating it is if you haven't been immersed in it, because then I went from like bodybuilding stuff where I was, and then I went into powerlifting where at SMAC in San Marcos, if the athletic club, it's been there forever as well. But it where you had to now, you were really in the weight room. You were really, we were trying to compete. So we were doing heavier weight, but I had to learn good form because I had to go really heavy. Without good form, you can't go heavy.
No, not at all. When did you switch to powerlifting? How old were you?
Oh gosh, I was probably like 20.
Yeah?
Yeah, my dad called me his favorite Marine because I weighed 100. I like really bulk. It was a really good cycle for a female that you don't normally have. And it was get as much mass as you can, go heavy. And then, and then obviously just to be stronger. Like we go through these bulking strength sections, like sessions that lasted like months, and I weighed almost 200 pounds. I weigh 100 and I don't know. It doesn't matter what I weigh. But I'm just saying, as a female at 5'10", between 185 and 200 was a lot of muscle. But in that, I got to put on a lot of muscle that I've always got to, and my mind always goes back to that. So,
what were your numbers? Do you remember?
Oh, it's so weird. My numbers make no sense. So I have a horrible squat. Okay, so
really?
My femurs are like as long as this room, right? So
training people with long femurs is
femurs,
the worst.
I put on my Instagram all the time, long femur club. So a lot of girls, and we have all these different kinds of needs. We can't grow our butt. That's why tall girls with big butts is like a unicorn, because we can't even get to our glutes half the time we're working because our quads do everything.
I feel like it's also women who have long femurs and small hips.
Yes.
It's like the ball and socket just it like stops at some point. Because I had ex-girlfriend a long time ago, and I would try to get her to squat. I couldn't figure out for the life of me why I couldn't get her below parallel.
Yeah.
I would try so many fucking things. Feet in or feet out, stance wide or something.
Length.
And I was like, she would get to a point where it just like would buckle, and I was like, I can't figure it out.
Yeah. No, it's so weird. And like today, like I was just training somebody, and she has very long femurs and like me and long quads. And she was like, but my knees are over. I'm like, it's okay. Everything looks different. A clean from the floor, my butt looks weird because it's so sat back. You know what I mean? As where everyone else is
you
like
have to
tight.
really sit back.
Yeah. But when you have these long legs. But anyway, so my squat was so dumb. It was, I don't even remember. It was like 200 pounds. But then I could, listen to what I bench press. It doesn't make any sense. I bench press 185 pounds.
Wow.
Yes.
Almost as much as you squat.
Yeah, like I think now, I mean, I think,
That's
was
amazing.
it more? I don't know. But then I deadlifted like 265 or 3. It wasn't like, but I would beat all the girls on the deadlift because they would go in and have a big squat or there. And I had okay numbers. I really don't remember. My deadlift could hang, but for some reason, we could never figure out why my upper body was so strong. I mean, I make up my quad thing with my lower body, but and my coach finally, he was like, I think that your ancestors just climbed trees and they never used their legs. So that you have like, I'm like still to this day, I can bench press so much or have I can do push-ups, like pull-ups. And I feel like it's sort of genetic. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Everybody has a lift that they just can gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Either, like for me, I can get strong-ish on squats, but something about my hips eventually kind of like move out of alignment, and it gets sketchy at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And deadlift's probably my strongest, and then bench, I just have weird shoulders. Just everyone has their thing.
Everyone has their thing.
Yeah.
So there's like always, and it's just random that mine would be, I'm a girl and I've had implants and I've had, and I have these long arms and I can fucking bench a lot.
That's amazing.
And I had to change my form about 5 years ago because I was, females are taught also that very wide shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do it in push-ups and they do it in bench. So I had the same. I was actually I kept telling my coaches, but I'm stronger here because I'd set that pattern, just waiting for my shoulder to tear.
Yep.
And if it really got heavy, I would dig in there. Well, and they were like, no, we're not, this is a mess. Like, let's take better care of our body for the future, Sandy.
Yeah.
So I had to do the much tighter, like bench press, and had to get strong again in that tighter position. So I feel like I've done it twice, but yeah.
How long were you powerlifting for?
Oh, just like 2 or 3 years.
And then what did you switch to? Why did you switch, and what did you switch to?
Well, then I got busy because I had to work.
Yeah,
right.
Can't train all the time.
So I got out of school and I had to work, and so I would. What's cool is I got to do a lot of things even back then that were what they do hybrid training now or whatever. It's so I would run, and then I knew I had weights. I had done hard weights, so go to the gym and back then, though, we would definitely like separate everything. And so it's just when I could get to the gym. But I had to be really, the thing about me is my whole life, either I've been working a lot or I had something going on. I have to be so efficient with my workouts that I started doing the kind of workouts that are popular now so long. And people say, oh, how do you stay in good shape? And it's really by combining cardio units with training units / mobility units and like making it a 40-minute EMOM. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that way it's like I started to stay in shape even if I had just the few hours a week. So that's how I train now with great intention and I'll pull out a big lift like probably twice a week, whether it could be an Olympic lift or it could be bench, it could be deadlift, and then I'll work on that. Or I'll take an Olympics and I'll use it as a skill unit. So I'll pull something out usually each workout.
And have you been training people for how long?
Oh my gosh, I've been training people since I was 20. I mean, don't ask how old I am. That's
how long I started training people.
Okay, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
about 20 years ago. Well, the thing is, I have always felt like I've been a coach, which I don't know if I also have been a big group coach forever. And most people, if they see this, a lot of people associate me as a coach of groups. now it's interesting, I'm a personal trainer, but I started with personal training like most of us did,
yeah.
By family and friends and wherever we could. I remember I worked in gyms my whole life. I had to open the racquetball courts for this gym in Westlake at 5:30, and racquetballers that are mad are like, if you're a minute late, I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
The racquetballers kill you. They don't care. So I had to be there at 5:30. For I've always worked in gyms.
Where was your first training job?
It was HQ Fitness. That's what I'm talking about in Westlake.
Cool,
and that's, if anybody knows that, y'all are going to die. But I've worked at all the gyms.
Yeah.
I've now feel like I've come to the pinnacle of that, which is collective, which I think is super cool. Because we now do like all this cool shit. They let us be we are coaching professionals, and we get to be that, and we get to manifest that there because, we're paid as we should be appropriately. I was telling you, a lot of personal trainers are going to be really happy with what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But I think it's a profession that for way too long has gone underpaid. And as people try to slash the prices again and again and again, it's just starting to get me really mad, I had this idea of going on retainer. I mean, and also trainers, first of all, we think about it, Brent. When you put people, their heart rates go up. We're putting them under load on their spine.
Yeah.
They have injuries. They never really told us. But guess what? If something happens, you and I are in trouble, right?
Yep.
Insurance, whatever, we're in trouble. So I really have high regard, and I think others should, for the way that personal trainers are putting themselves out there, we have people that doctors will barely touch you because they don't want, and we're moving them and all this stuff. And I think for too long it's been, it's just exercise. I can do that. But I think there's two routes to go for us, and it's the academic route. And then it's sort of like that, what do I do, just personal training forever? Like, what do I do? Do I do a podcast and personal training,
Yeah. It's an interesting career choice.
It is.
Because you get into it, and, my first 10 years was all over the place.
I know.
And you'd work for studios, and you wouldn't really make anything.
Oh, no.
But you'd be working all the time.
All the time, yeah.
7 a.m., 8 p.m. at night, go home.
Yeah.
Try to fall asleep after drinking a Rockstar Energy drink. Come back, right?
So gross.
I know.
I had shifts that were like, like 6 a.m. to like 11, and then go home and have to come back at for a 5 p.m. class, and then 6.
Oh, yeah.
Like 2 times a day. It was so bad.
Did you ever get burnout?
I got really burnout. So I think...
which I think every trainer...
they do.
Hits a point.
I think they do.
A lot of my clients make fun of me because I'm always trying to get off caffeine, at least for a while.
Yeah.
But they don't understand.
Yeah.
What, I don't know if you have this experience, trainers are caffeine addicts.
Yeah. Yes. We are something addicts. We have to be, because we're bringing the show.
Yeah,
we're bringing your best hour of the day. We're responsible for that. And we got to bring it. And so we all get addicted, I feel like, to something, whether it is caffeine. I've seen a lot of heavy pot smokers as trainers too.
Really, yeah.
Whether they're trying to have the energy or they're trying to disassociate, right? Because it's a hard profession.
Yeah.
And that energy is hard to bring every day. I've seen a lot of Adderall,
Yep.
And I think that's another thing that people don't appreciate is how because our energy is very... And if you're a good trainer, you can have all the degrees in the world. It doesn't matter. If you're a good trainer and your energy, you have the ability to absorb their energy, but also give your good energy back. You know what I mean? It's all energy in those sessions.
Oh, 100%. I think that's why I originally got burnout when I was first starting out, first 5 years.
Because you were giving so much energy.
You don't understand the energy exchange.
And it's exhausting.
And so you go home and you're just like in bed or curl up or like you can't do anything.
It's
and you're like, why do I feel exhausted?
Yeah.
And when you're training people, you have to be extremely present.
Extremely present.
It's not like I'm working from home or in an office where I can just kind of zone out
this
or
man
fuck around.
has 45 pounds over his skull. You better be, you know what I mean?
Or if you're in a group, it's like, I'm having a conversation with this person. I'm watching this person. I'm changing this person's weight.
This person has a knee injury. You need a modification for that.
Yeah. It's like a juggling circus. So like 5 hours is like training 10 hours.
For real, though. For real. And nobody says that.
Yeah. My one client was like, oh, you only train 4 or 5 hours a day? It's like you're retired. I was like, you don't know what you're talking about.
4 hours a day of training is like, it's literally 10 hours in a normal human's life. And it was funny. We just had this discussion today. And, and I was so lucky when I came over to Collective and Jeremy asking me, what's your dream schedule? And I'm like, I would like to, it was really dumb. Right. And he's like, but we both have been in places where trainers start at 6 a.m. and they work all day. Yeah. And that can only last so long, right? And we've all seen it. Mm-hmm. And so I like it because it's an atmosphere of like, we want you to be here, right? But I also know that there's trainers that they can stand on their feet, Brent, 9 hours a day. Their energy neither goes to their client nor their client's energy penetrates them. And these are rock stars. I've worked with those too that love it, that would never do anything different. Yeah. To me, it looks 8 hours is terrifying. I'm thinking, how much caffeine do I have to drink? Is there cocaine in the building? What am I going to do?
Well, tell me about when you first got burnout.
Oh, the first time I got burnout, it was very simple because I am very energetic. And so just like you, at first it was super uplifting. And I'll tell you the first time I actually started my own company with a friend of mine, Joni. So it was J&S Fitness, but it was mobile training before there was mobile training. Cool. So it was so funny. Our sport blocks, or you could do all the different ways, so square sport blocks. And we would run with because it's all females, they all wanted to run, right? Yeah. And so we would cater to that. I would run with them for 30 minutes and then we would do weights with the sport blocks, right? I thought it was the perfect combination. Well, I had literally was running like 2.5, 3 hours a day.
Oh man.
Dude, I was running. So I thought I had a heart attack. I was going to go to the hospital. And I was
Could you fall asleep at night?
I don't even know. It's like I was having my heart was going faster at night. So I was like, okay, I got to
get too much adrenaline in your system.
Right. But that was the first physical sign that I had of your goal. And I would start at 6 a.m. I would drive to people's houses at 6 a.m. I didn't know that even physically I would get exhausted. I mean, that's an extreme example, but that's when I had to. And then what's horrible about when your trainer gets exhausted is they bail. And it happens to everyone. We all know what it looks like. And then your clients feel like you abandoned them. Yep. So we're very guilty as well. Trainers are very guilty. So they don't want to let you down and not show up, but they also don't want to have to get burnout and then kind of not answer your phone calls anymore.
They also get burnout and they don't keep progressing you. I see this all the time.
Yeah.
Where you'll see a trainer who's been working with somebody for a while.
Yes.
And they're doing the same thing, the same weights. I'm sure we've all worked around at some point in our career and you're like, dude, you got to take a break because
they're not. You're just doing the same workout, and they're not even looking at them anymore. You know what I mean?
They're on their phone.
Yeah,
or
they're on their phone.
It's just like do the lat pull. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know, and that's what I can't. And see, I don't even have the ability to do that. If you worked with me, everyone calls, Sandy's all about form, and Sandy's, and I just don't have the ability. If you're not doing it right, if you're not even usually loading I've got to stop. And I call myself almost a retrainer now because everyone that comes to me, the first thing I do is work on their hinge and loading where, a lot of girls want glutes. So we talk about how to load glutes specifically and open the front of your hips, right? So get extension so you can get flexion. Make yourself a butt machine. Not just today. Make it where your hips are open. Salsa dancers, why do they have big butts? Because they get their hips open and then they use their glutes all day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I said I've tried to be very bigger picture with them about what their aesthetic goal is than just their aesthetic goal. And it has to do with opening. Now I totally lost my point, Brent. What was I talking about? You were asking me.
Opening the hips. Sorry.
Oh no, you asked me something about my clients. Well, anyway, I don't even know. I forgot the question. I got burned out.
Yeah, you got burned out. we were talking about clients just not paying attention to training their clients.
Oh, right. So I don't have the ability to do that. And that's why also a lot of sessions are hard for me because I really, I'm annoying. Like, I'm like, the first time you train me, I'm going to give you so many weird cues. You're going to be, if you get one of them, you're lucky today. Okay.
Yeah,
like, just know that. And everything I said, like, we'll break it down another, like, a million times. But I call myself a retrainer because even in my group classes, I cannot let, you've seen coaches, they let that bad form slide, but you got 30 other people.
Yeah.
And even that, I feel like, and I always say to my people, when I'm coaching you, I'm not mad. I sound sort of mad, but I'm not. I just have got to have you have right form or you're going to be injured. And then when you go home and you're injured, you're going to say, oh, I hurt my back in Sandy's class. And then I'm going to be pissed. And then I'm going to come find you because you're not going to injure your back in my class, right?
Yeah.
But so when you're with me as a personal training client, I have got to give you, and I'm sweating while I'm training people. I've got the fucking PVC pipe out, making them do the hinges, you know?
You're in it.
I'm in it. I got them doing couch stretch. I'm looking at their hips. I'm evaluating, and it is a lot of energy. And so I have to watch that now. And I still give away a lot of physical energy, but it's the mental energy that's the hardest with training. And it's almost just getting the first one out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, and then you're on.
Yeah, you're in a flow now.
Now you're in a flow. But that first one, you sit in your car for about 3 minutes and you're like, okay. And I kind of also said when I first worked at Collective, because we had like a coach's lounge. It was like off to the side. And I felt like we were like when you go to Disney World and like the characters come out. Of that room.
Yeah.
Like I felt like we were like about to go on show and like here come the characters, but I'm also super authentic and I think you are too. And so we want to be our authentic selves, not be fake, have energy for you, have empathy, all these cool things we want to be at once, right? And so I think that first hour, once we get there, but you got to stay with the caffeine all day.
Yeah. My goal right now is I'm trying to come off caffeine completely.
And how much are you drinking a day, do you think?
Not a lot, but I think as I just get older, I get more sensitive.
Yeah.
If
my posture's bad, y'all stop. All I do is tell my girls all day to put their shoulders back. Okay.
I have a new obsession. I want to get 8 hours on this Oura ring without caffeine.
Oh my God. Okay.
How many hours of sleep do you get? Do you know?
8. So we're talking about.
You get 8?
If I can, listen to me.
So for a week, I didn't have any caffeine and I only got 6.5 hours. Those are the best I've ever felt. So I'm like, what can I possibly...
How much caffeine were you fucking drinking?
Not a lot.
Oh my God.
A cup to 2 cups.
Oh, that's it. But your systems must be really...
Super sensitive. Sometimes there's those days where you're like, fuck it, right? Let's go 2 nitros and just...
We got to go. Yeah.
It's
game time.
Yeah, but it's not... I'm not like 3, 4 every day repeat. Yeah.
Okay, but you have 2 cups of coffee and you can't sleep?
It's not that I can't sleep. The quality just gets less
the quality.
and less.
And you're watching your Oura ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my new obsession is sleep.
So you're a metric person.
It helped.
A little bit?
It helped me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my argument would be.
I'm more like a feeling person.
Right.
Yeah, but once I saw it, I was like, oh, I didn't realize I was getting 6 hours.
Like
because I went to bed at a certain time and woke up at a certain time. So I'm like, that's 8 hours.
Right. No, yeah. Like, but it's not. But you're like, cool. You're kidding yourself. I do that all the time.
Yeah. I don't track my caloric burn and steps like
no,
I could care less. Yeah.
Right. Because we know that's
whatever.
That's all silly, right? And it's a bigger picture. But but I do know a lot of people that have those Oura rings, and I think it is interesting. I haven't done it. Oh, I'm actually scared to do it because I do the same thing. I say I get that sleep, but I sleep during the day. I take I'm a big napper.
Naps are great.
And what I think people are fighting that so hard. So every day, it's like grandpa goes in his room, and that's like my grandpa. Now I'm grandpa, and like closes the door, and like I'm asleep, And I've slept in my car as a trainer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the car
I've slept
naps
on mats.
Are epic.
Oh yeah. Turn the heater on when it's like super cold out.
Oh, the heater on for like an hour. Like your car almost dies. We've all done that sleep.
Every day I come home after training clients the first half of the day.
Yes.
Walk by the office, say hi to my roommate, put my earplugs, eye mask on, go to bed.
Go right to sleep and like crash. But then I know, and then but I thought that was maybe a newer thing for me. But then when high school, I would go take naps in my car in high school.
Oh, dang.
So what does that tells me something about my rhythm, right? And then my dad was like that, and I really wasn't kidding. My grandpa was like that, and I would always be like, why are these people sleeping in the middle of the day? And then it's just, I think for some people it's a rhythm, it's part of their rhythm.
Yeah.
But I always say they're like, why? First of all, people thought I was lazy. I was like, naps are not lazy. It's actually the best thing you can do for your body. But I think that, it still has that, especially for a lot of women I know, naps really have a negative thing. Like, how dare you lay down in the middle of the day?
Yep.
When you and I know that it's the best thing they can do. It's preventing illness. It's recharging not only your body, but like your brain. So, I say, like, what people are like, what do you mean? What does it feel like? I said, I feel like on your phone, when your battery dies and nothing else can recharge it unless you plug it into a wall. And that's a nap for me.
Exactly.
I can throw caffeine on top of it. I can throw everything and try to get it up a little bit, but I got to get that nap. So
how long do you nap?
Anywhere from 20 minutes to, like, if I missed a bunch of sleep the night before, that feeling, like, I'll like an hour and a half, but that's rare.
Nice. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think if you're a trainer, you learn to nap, and those 20, 30-minute naps are like essential.
Yes.
Because it just gives your brain, it's just like wiping the windshield off that's got like a bunch of bugs and gunk. It's just like, oh, your brain feels a little more clear to finish the day.
I mean, it's so much more clear.
And if you set your alarm for just 30 minutes, you can't go deep enough asleep that you'll get groggy.
Yeah.
Even if you just pass out for like a minute, you feel amazing.
It's
just enough to dip.
I have done that.
Dip out. Yeah.
I've had like 5 minutes between clients, and I think that's a skill, because I'll do that. I'll lay back, and I think it's about being able to control your heart rate down.
Yeah.
Like, would that feel? And then going just for a beat unconscious, just where you lost the track of the radio for a minute, and it's like your brain feels so new.
It totally does.
Yeah.
It's like you got dunked underwater and came back out.
I know. You wouldn't believe, or you would believe how many people don't understand that.
Yeah, it's important.
That's important.
And I think the other key thing is, even if you're not a napper, to just lay down for 20 minutes.
Yes.
Close your eyes and no pressure.
Exactly.
To actually fall asleep.
Yeah.
Then you probably will fall asleep.
Exactly. Or you're going to meditate in some way that's cool that you don't know, but because you're sitting here
You're just not on your phone instead of anxiously burning yourself out more.
But I think that, people also say, how do you stay like, and I always say, I have prioritized sleep, protein, and movement 4 times a week my entire life. So imagine, like, and if you're my friend, like, you're sad if you're my friend, because I'm like, the whole night is I gotta go to bed. It's so not fun to be with me. And my friends, it's like 7. They're like, Sandy, it's 7:30. I'm like, I gotta go to bed, because I'll start to shut down.
Oh yeah.
Like, my rhythm.
That's good. You're really in a rhythm.
No, I'm an early morning person. That's my rhythm.
What, like 4 or 5 or?
Well, I mean, I feel the best in the morning.
Got it.
I get super sleepy at night.
Got it.
So I used to watch my mom and dad fight their whole lives, because his rhythm was a go to bed early, wake up early.
Yeah.
Her rhythm was stay up all night, party till like 3 a.m. And then she would sleep till 11. And so you had such a mismatch of fights about things that now I would look back
when are you
and say,
hang out?
Yeah, exactly. And my dad was fighting that sleep, that where now, where it's on the other side, where you've got to go to sleep. There's no coming back from it, right? So my dad's rhythm was that, because he had been up since 5.
Yep.
And my mom was just little, like, birdie, like, little eyes came alive at 10 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah, so they fought about it my whole childhood. And now I can see that it's in that nap and the rhythm of your sleep. So I think we fight that too much. Everybody knows what they are secretly. Are you a night owl, or when do you feel your best? But people try to fight that for either marriage sake or a job sake, or to look like you're doing the most sake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they fight their own rhythm. So I think that's when you start to get sick. That's when people start to, like, not, because I had to tell people for years I wasn't depressed. Because I just wanted to go to bed, you know what I mean? But then they're like, I saw one of the symptoms is like a lot of sleep. And I was like, but I really want to go, because I know that's the hell. Like, that's better than working out. If someone's like, if I need sleep and someone's like, you want to go work out for 45 minutes and I have a choice, the choice is sleep because I'm going to get healthier and better out of that sleep than that hard workout.
I love that.
You know?
Do you take any sleep supplements or anything?
I try not to.
Yeah.
And if I told you what it was,
what is it?
So you also got to know that I'm all by feel, but I'm also sort of, I've seen all the trends come and go, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I try not to ascribe to anything. But I know there's like a lot of, with melatonin, there's like an issue with that. So I just take ZZ Quill. If I gotta sleep, I take 2 ZZ Quill, which I know messes up like probably the REM sleep and my hormones, but it'll knock me out.
That's just like if you really need to sleep.
If I really need to sleep. But most nights I try to just go to sleep by myself. I'm so tired. Like I'm really tired all the time. I act like that. I'm an introvert, extrovert. So right now I'm up, but then as soon as I go, I'm here, I'm like,
so training women for, the last 20 plus years,
Yes.
What are some of the things that you constantly see that need to be addressed?
Oh, well, so, all right, y'all, fix my hair. Oh my God, is this I can't tell. I don't remember if this is my better side or my worse side. Oh, all right. Well,
You're in it.
okay. Well, so you ready to go to Sandy Land? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I feel very privileged to be a female strength and conditioning coach. All the things I've been, because you are coming from a different perspective. And I hate that for male coaches, And I say when I train men, I'm pretty sure I underload men. I'm pretty sure. Because I'm not a man. I've never known how strong, even a 18-year-old boy soaking wet, never lifted a weight in his life, is going to be able to probably lift more than I can on his first try, because you're born with bigger tendons, ligaments, joints. There's things that I can't do. So I feel like sometimes I underload men. So that's my caveat to say, if you're a male trainer, it's hard to know what is possible for women or what is impossible for women, right? So you think a lot of times some of the same, principles that we've progressive overload, all those things are right. The thing that I do with women is, and if you're my client, God knows you know, the first thing is I want to know what their goals are. Like for real though, like not bullshit. Like, okay, you want a bigger butt. Okay. And what do you think that means? Like how do you do that? You're about to go to Sandyland and figure out how to do that appropriately. And that's going to take a minute, because you've been basically loading your quads for the last 15 years on everything you've done. And now your back hurts and your glutes are shut down. And now we're going to look at your upper body, and all that's coming out of you is that you've been using your traps and your rhomboids to pull your whole life. And your lower lats are trash. And all you do is work from up here, and your neck hurts. And so the first thing that me and the girls have to do is I start training them how to open their hips. So couch stretch is like, we call it the Open Hips Club, is huge. And I start to just, the first thing with females is they don't understand what's cute about females is we stick out our butt in pictures, or we have that little dosis in our back. But what girls don't know is that that's cute now, but over time it shuts down the nerves that innervate your glutes, and it's doing you, and your stabilizer muscles shut off, and your glutes are going to be nothing in 5 years. Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and glutes are like whatever with the fashion industry and all that stuff. It's still a look of health. It still means a lot. So I'm happy to assist, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing, girls, when you come to me is you have to hurry.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I'm just watching.
Okay. Remind me, because I'll go forever.
No, you're good.
The first thing we do is open our hips. And we talk about, patterns that we're repeating that we don't want to repeat anymore. Well, my quads are like, every time I go to a class, all I feel is my quads. And I feel like my quads are too big, but their butt is nothing, right? So now
spin class, right?
Oh
How many women
God, the
just feel their
spin.
spin, yeah.
And their hips are closed, and it's like all the positioning I don't want them in, right?
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, yeah, they've been, and they're like, Sandy, but I've worked out. And I'm like, so for women, you have to say to them, I know you've worked out. I swear to God, I know you've done everything. You've been in classes multiple times a fucking day. I don't think you're lazy at all. I know that you're not lazy at all. but you've been doing everything wrong this whole time because no one set you straight. So I think that's why I call myself a retrainer now, because most of the girls are going to come to me. They're going to have closed hips, but they're going to want a big ass. They're going to have used their quads for the last 10 years. They want a big ass, right? So the first thing I tell girls is we're going to open your hips. Your quads got to die a little bit. Give me 6 months. We're going to hit glutes twice a week. And so that's usually how women come to me first. If it's something other than, if it's like general, if that's not their aesthetic goal, then it's still the same. I want you to use your glutes as your primary movers, not your quads and your hamstrings, you know? So we're still going to teach you that for life. Then the second thing is, like I was saying about upper body, women are all here and we're all like working here. Like I've watched my hairdresser and she's all here, you know, and nail techs, and as a personal trainer, I'm all here. And so the first thing we talk about is, this is, and I say the dumbest stuff, honestly. But whatever cue works. And we're like, these are all your babies and they want to help you like so much, but I need you to let it. And so first we just start opening, and especially females with like, implants, their pec minor super tight. So we talk about how to loosen, open. Once I get that open, I can load back here. And now you're standing here with your lats loaded with a pec minor that's not constricting you.
Do you have a favorite way of releasing the pec minor?
Lacrosse ball. But it's hard for women to have implants because they got to get into a wall.
Yeah.
They're not patient enough to, I'll tell them, breathe into it. They're just fucking like grinding it, Theragunning's too hard for females. Males, I can get in their pec minor with that Theragun usually. No. So if you invent something really fucking cool, let me know. I'll be the first to buy it.
And then what's some of your favorite lat exercises? Once you've opened it up, what do you like to do for lats to hold that posture?
It'll take about 3 sessions just to get that to go. So it's a combo. So I'll put the girls on yoga blocks and I'll make them load down in that 45-degree position. They all want to load here.
Yep. So
I make them, and now they're on the floor. And I'll make them load back into and now they have to push out of their lats.
Oh yeah, cool.
And so that, it does 2 things. I'm always fucking with girls also that they don't know. Like I've got you doing Bulgarian split squats because I love to teach you how to load your glutes. But I'm also getting a couch stretch at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're doing mobility at the same time. So for this, I'm getting a strength unit, right? They're having to push out of it. I'm also watching how their push out of it is. I'm getting them to understand to breathe, calm down, and be in an open passive stretch. And I'm teaching them how to load their lats. And so all my movements usually are a combo. I find that now, kind of. Or, okay, but if they got that, if they understand that, we'll get like a band, right? And then you'll break the band and then you'll pull just the same shit. But I call it rerouting. I tell them like, this takes a minute. So don't think that like and the body you want is not possible. You're just because you keep putting strength on dysfunction. I got to take away all that dysfunction. And then your body's probably going to look a lot like you want it to look because it's going to be in proportion now.
Yeah.
So I have a whole paradigm shift with girls.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's only because I've done it. I've done everything wrong like 10 times. I was so mad about like growing my glutes. I did everything. I was doing like 195-pound reverse lunges a day, heavy kettlebell, whatever, everything I was doing. And if someone had pulled me aside and been like, Sandy, you will never grow your ass. You will never, and I know it's frustrating because you know how to do muscle if those hips are closed. My hips were so tight that I went to the PT one time and I thought I had cancer because there was like a lump of tissue.
Wow.
And he's like, Sandy, what? And he broke it down for me. He's like, what the fuck do you think you're not 3D? You're 3D. Everything that happens here is happening back there. And it was like, oh my God, like finally I put the 2 and 2 together. Once I got my hips open, everything grew. It was like it worked. It was like the system that was supposed to work.
And just every area of your hips, or was it mostly?
Just the front. So what happens when you go in couch stretch, you know what couch stretch is, right? Yeah. Everyone's quads. So their quad, they feel in their quads like for the first like month. And I'm like, eventually your quad will release. It's an aggressive stretch. And then you'll get that stretch. You want it right where your glute max is, directly across from that, like a 3D model, that's what you want open. Because when I get that open, I can flex and fire my glute appropriately now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does.
Yeah. So you can see how I have to keep working that inner hip to get it open. I tell them, get your hip bone forward. Imagine if you're standing there, I can see your hip bone.
Yeah, mine locks up a ton on the right side, and if I don't keep it open, that's how I'll sometimes injure my low back because it shifts my hips in a weird way.
100%. And I think there's always one hip that's tighter, and we really don't want to do that. Like one of my clients, he messaged me and he was like, I'm about to do legs. I'm like, well, do couch stretch before you do legs. He was like, I'll do it after. And I'm like, but the reason you do couch stretch is so you can open your hips and load your glutes properly during legs. So I need you to do it before.
Yeah, do it
right?
now.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally does.
Okay, thank you.
Well, how do you like to change the form for Bulgarians for people to hit their glutes better?
Well, okay, so it's very specific. You'll have to come do it with me one day, Brent. Okay, come do it with me. I use the newbie as well, so we don't have to advertise that on here, or if you want to, whatever. It's done by NewFit in Austin. It's used for rehab and hypertrophy. I use it on some people. I don't use it on everybody. I just happen to have used it for years. But and it's just a neuromuscular reeducation, so I'll throw that in there now. But the loading part is simply, okay, so first of all, you know, and I know everyone fucking does Bulgarians too high. Their leg is all kicked back, all wrong, and they're just hanging on their joint and their tendons. They can't even get low enough to load their glute. So I like that little spinny thing where it like hooks their foot and it's low. So it's so embarrassing at my work. I'm going to give all my trainers, y'all know who you are, like PTSD one day about this thing because I carry it all around the fucking gym. Like everywhere I go, this little thing is with me. And that's all I need. I need that and weight to grow an ass. And that's all I need. And the girls get on there and we start opening their hips and couch stretch. And it's aggressive. Like I'm telling you, at first they're all hunched over and then they start to come up, you know, and then now what I do now, once I get that, now I got them in that position. Now I call it Mula Bandha lock, but that's a yoga term. And Lauren from Collective told me it was wrong. Well, it doesn't really mean what it means, but the girls love it. So I say Mula Bandha lock. And what it means is your pelvis, you're in couch, your one leg's back, right? You're in couch on this thing. And now you're going to push your pelvis into sort of that neutral, you know, that neutral where it's kind of your like pelvic floor and you push it down. And we also call it ugly butt because like from the back, it doesn't look really pretty. And that's where we start. So we start Bulgarians there, imagine, with a proud chest.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's really fucking hard. And they didn't get to move their shoulders or anything. They just had to tuck their pelvis and make that stretch harder through their pelvis. So that's how we start. Once they get that, and I'll even sort of guide their, and I'll do like a little bit of manual stretch. Then we unlock our hips, right? And then I teach them. So a lot of girls you'll see, and you know, their knees go forward first, either on a squat or in something like this. I block their knee from moving and I make them load the working leg way back into a stretch. So now their torso is over their knee and I make them hold this pole and I make them act like they have no toes. I say, how you have no toes. This sounds crazy. This is very dramatic, by the way, but it is the way I get them to understand what I'm trying to get them to. So I say, by the way, if any other trainer tells you to put your toes on the floor, put your toes on the floor. I'm telling you all this because this is very specific to what I want you to do. And now they're loaded in their working leg. Now I'll have them coil their heel almost behind their knee. Yeah. So imagine, sometimes they'll do a band. So imagine how tight. Now the only rescue your body has, your quad's out of it now because you pulled your heel back, is to fire your glute max. And it's a bitch. Wow. And I've seen grown men not be able to get up from it. You know what I mean by that? Yeah. And so it's so fun. And so girls are like, oh my God, I've never felt that because they've been feeling their quads forever on everything. And they didn't even know what they felt. You know what I mean? And now I make them that they have to have that mind muscle connection with their glute. And so not only now do they have to go into couch stretch, flex their glute in the back, start thinking about getting blood back there and thinking about it. And now they have to load it, stretch it, fire it. It's so fucking cool. It's like watching little babies walk again.
Is that one of your favorite ways to get the glutes to fire?
Well, I mean, then we take that same principle and we do it to everything. We do it to step ups. We do it to, we do, what do? We do or skater squats. So I always start out with individual leg stuff. I also believe in, I do adductor stuff. I do, or abductor stuff. I hate those machines and stuff. I don't, I don't allow that.
What do you do abduction-wise without machines?
Abduction-wise, all I do is put the band on their knees, and I put it right on their knee joints. I think that trainers or girls let their bands ride too high. Oh, now it's all quad and hips. It's got to be, because think about it, your knee joint moves your glute medius. That's the firing. So they let it ride up too high. So I make these girls, it's horrible. I make them put it right on their knee joint. And now they lay down, and we'll put a weight, I don't do barbell hip thrusters or anything like that. They'll do a dumbbell because they can't even get their hips in extension. So now they're stuck under a barbell.
Yeah.
So I'll put like a weight, like a little dumbbell there. And then that band is on their knee joints. And now they'll do like 10, I call them scoop and sweeps, where you like take your pelvis up and like really like ugly butt. Same thing as the standing. Then we do some hip thrusters. Then they stay in extension and they push it, like that. Yep. Do like 100 of them. It's horrible.
Wow.
But
with weight.
Well, if we're
sometimes
a little bit,
yeah, maybe
it depends on who's doing it.
Yeah,
but and then I let them cheat a little bit, and I let them hold their hips up into extension, because a lot of times I'm just like, sometimes I just got to get to those glutes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I want your stabilizers. I don't care about, do your stability and all that shit with someone else. Like today we're doing glutes only, so I let them do a lot of stuff that they're not used to. So I never use the band. I don't do the walks with the bands. There's one exercise I do. And I also believe in, oh gosh, and so this is going to get like a lot of flack. I believe in all the things you should do, by the way. So Brent Contreras, like, yes, I know you should load laterally and all that stuff. But what you have to do first, before you do any of that cool shit, like it's a banner fucking day when my girls get to do like cool shit, like those band things on the TikTok and stuff.
Yeah.
Is you have to get your hips open, and you have to demonstrate to me properly that you know how to load your glute max, basically. Cool. We do that for 6 months. Then you get to do fancy shit. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so my girls show up. They don't even ask. We're doing Bulgarians. And all the men already know. I'm always like, you never see like a lot of men doing like really heavy glute. Because they're really hard. Not to put down men, but you know what I mean? They're so hard.
They are actually hard. I don't do them very often, but when I do, I'm like, wow, I'm actually pretty weak at these. I should probably do them a lot more.
You should do them. Yes, well, you should come. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's just because I take away everything else that you would normally use. And even with the little machine I have, I take away your foot in the back, so you don't have a box to press on or anything.
Yeah.
And I just sort of, it's fun. And I think that we wouldn't have taken glutes out of it and isolated. Like I tell girls, like, well, like guys, really, and girls, like if you want to grow your bicep, you're not going to work fucking shoulders and back. And then, I mean, sure, biceps will come up along with it, obviously. But let's say you just had a specific goal. Well, now that's what girls have. They have a specific goal, but they still do it on leg day. So my hashtag is leg day is not glute day. It's a totally separate muscle. Take it away from leg day, general conditioning, all that stuff. Cool. Love deadlifts, love barbell back squats. I love anything for general, but my girls know that we're going to do probably, if that's really their goal, and a lot of times it really is their goal, then we're gonna separate it away, and it's so boring. It's so boring. It's Bulgarians. It's the step ups. It's just the banded. It's fucking really tight RDLs, not the hamstring ones where people go too low, go back in their heels. These are like the ones the Romanian deadlifts were made for. And it's like my girls have to start tall. They have to load their lats down. They have to, they only get to come down like this far. So I just get their chain right. So
slightly below the knees, kind of.
Exactly. So I have them do it to a yoga block, and the yoga block's inside their feet. They have narrow feet. Now their toes are down, not up. And so, you wouldn't believe it, but these girls are monsters by the time I'm done with them. And they can Bulgarian squat so much weight because they just keep moving up. I'm handing them 40s, 35s. I mean, it's like I had to get a wristband for one of the girls, or like a fucking, remember, what are those called? The wraps.
I have them. Cobra grips.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
So that she could hold the weight.
Oh, yeah.
Because her body could no longer take the weight that she could put on her glutes. That's how efficient she got at loading them. Just her upper body hasn't caught up yet.
It's super fun watching women get strong.
I loved it. Oh, it's my favorite. Yeah.
When women come to you and they want to get leaner, what do you tell them?
So I have a really simple formula. I'm telling you, it's really bad. I'm not a nutritionist by any means, but it's worked for me my whole life, and I think it'll make a lot of sense. I tell females, if you want to be shredded, make your body a machine. So first we're going to add muscle, but we're going to keep our muscles really happy all day long. Keep them in homeostasis. We feed them about 20 grams of protein every 3 hours. That's all we do. We don't overthink it. Now, we just lay down that foundation of protein every day. And most girls say to me, oh, like they think protein's like a guy thing. It's going to make them big or bulky or whatever. I'm like, your body needs...
I don't know why that is. My last guest said the same thing. Yeah. They're like, I don't know why girls don't eat protein.
I'm a girl, I'll tell you why. Yeah, because unfortunately, the marketing is all for guys. And so what girls don't want to look like is a lot of girls, okay, right? Yeah. I'm speaking about they don't want to look like guys. So they're worried that a lot of protein denotes a lot of muscle. So they're confused, right? They don't understand that these guys are doing something beyond the scope that they would ever even think of. But you also have to think like a female. A female does not want to order those gross meals. Like y'all order, and they don't want to go to a microwave, and they don't want to warm it up, and they're not doing any of that. They'd rather not eat, right? I know these girls. I am this girl.
For sure.
So I had to make it a really easy way for them. And like I said, it's the big scope is 80-20 every day. So 80% of the day, we just lay down protein. My body knows exactly when 3 hours is up. I need protein. And for me, because I'm training in the mornings, it's a stupid bar. Ugh. But I don't have time to make food. It's a 20-gram bar of that and then a banana. Yeah. And then 3 hours later, I have nuts in my bag, and I'll eat like a bunch of those, maybe another piece of fruit. And then 3 hours later, maybe we'll go to Sun Life and I'll get a whey shake. You know what I mean? But I know when that so the first thing I do is I set their timers on their fucking phone. I'm like, 3 hours, 3 hours. It gets them in the habit of eating those small meals. And then I just say, like, eat whatever you're going to have for dinner, because you're going to go out with your friends, or you'll probably eat a healthy dinner. But let's say tonight you didn't. And then that's your 20% is eat like a pretty healthy dinner. You can have a couple glasses of wine or whatever, dessert. So it's 8, but then you get back on the boat, 80-20, 80-20. This is my 20. So I've been so good all day that I get my 20 and I stay 80-20.
I like that.
Yeah. And the girls really do need to, and I even tell them when they eat their food, like you're at a fancy meal or whatever, eat your protein first. It slows down everything else. Your body gets pissed when it does not like to process protein. Your muscles your muscles require it. And it's like, it is the hardest thing for your body to break down as protein. So you sort of piss it off a little bit, but then it like gets really efficient. It fixing shit,
It creates a lot of satiety too.
Oh, exactly, exactly. And for girls, I mean, it's around 20 grams, whatever. I read a long time ago, it's about 20 grams every 3 hours that a girl can process at once. I don't know if that's true or not. I think it's an easy thing to say.
I think looking back, like a couple of years ago, I read research. I think what it is the body has like a refractory period, something like that, for 5 grams of leucine. So like in like 20, 30 grams, I think there's about 5 grams of leucine, and that's one of the main amino acids.
Yes.
And it's like...
Because it needs 7.
Yeah, something like that. So then it's like, every 20, 30, then that's good. Just continue.
And I think males, it's like more that you could do a little bit because you're bigger.
Well, do you have tips for good protein that aren't these microwavable, disgusting meals?
I have a whole
because I get asked this all the time, and I'm I don't know.
Oh yeah. Okay. So all my girls, it's ridiculous what we eat. So these Think bars, which are dumb, but they're I love Think bars. Think bars, please sponsor me. I love Think bars. They're everywhere now. You've seen them? Have you never seen one?
No.
Well, what's funny is no one had seen them, and I was like, they go down easy, so girls don't have to chew. Garbage. Don't even look at it. Brent, don't even test me on that, okay? Remember, these are girls driving in their cars. Just be happy they got a bar in, okay?
Got it.
We're doing it. We're looking at a bigger frame here.
Yes.
Sandy's in her car. She's driving to work. She's gonna be starving if she doesn't eat this bar.
Yeah, she's got to eat.
That she will eat. right? Like, 'cause some bars I would never eat because you have to chew too much. It takes too long. I'm telling you, these are all your clients.
Yeah.
Ugh. So think are like, they're like kind of like small and they 20 grams, 0 grams of sugar, get it in. But it has, I swear to God, I've been eating these for like the last 4 years and they get sold out. Like
they get better and better.
Well, yeah. I mean, people discovered these things are like your body processes them. You don't get like indigestion or anything.
Oh, really?
Quickly. And it's just a good protein. Like it's solid for 3 hours. One bar is solid for 3 hours. And then right at the end of the 3 hours, I got to have something else. But I saw all my girls eat those Think bars, Frog Fuel. I don't know if you know what that is.
What's
this
that?
is embarrassing.
What is
and
Frog
Fuel should sponsor me too because I should do one called Butt Fuel or something. It's 15 grams of highly ionized, fast-absorbing collagen protein.
Oh, cool.
And it is made by an ex-Navy SEAL. Then they actually use them, I guess. And it's a really fast way to get. And each shot it's like a goo. It's like you just tear it off. It's a goo.
Yeah.
Are 15 grams of this. So if I'm starving, or my girls just did a butt workout and they will not go eat for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And I lose that precious time. They all have Frog Fuel. So they'll, at the end of my session, they'll open, because I know they won't go eat. They'll tell me they're going to go eat. So we do Frog Fuel, Think bars, nuts. I have them all, I don't care. Put them in your car. It's not that hard. About 20 grams, like whatever. It's better than nothing. Just eat as many fruits as you can possibly get your hands on. I know you're not going to, but okay.
Yeah.
If you see a fruit, if you pass it, nothing's off limits. Okay. So yeah, my girls sustain and myself on Think bars, Frog Fuel during the day, nuts and 2 Greek yogurts. I always say is appropriate. It's like 23 grams, or I don't remember.
Yeah.
2 Greek yogurts, and then I'll put blueberries in there, and I'll put some natural peanut butter in there if you really want a big meal during the day. So a lot of my girls do that. Greek yogurt, natural peanut butter, put the blueberries. But we keep our carbs like decent. Like I don't do no carbs, no. But like keep them low all day. Just kind of, because also like.
Sounds like you're just pairing up with fruit and a little bit of like healthy fats.
Yeah, the protein
but mostly is the protein.
Protein's what I care about.
Yeah. And then at night is like your meal.
Yes. If you've been craving pasta or whatever you got to have, do it.
Which is smart, because having those carbs in the evening will make you a little bit sleepier and kind of bring your cortisol down and you're ready to go to bed.
Yeah. And I also, I'm not a big subscriber to like late night. I don't care if you eat late night. There's like, oh, if I eat past, I'll get fat. I'm like, it's pretty much 24 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yes, but if if I go to bed hungry, then I can't sleep well. Exactly. So have your bigger meal. So see, they've been saying breakfast, Brent, and we knew it was dinner all along.
Exactly. Well, Sandy, this is super fun. We're out of time though. Sucks. We could
please come work out with me at the Collective. Okay. For sure. Okay.
How do people connect with you if they want to work with you, follow you?
Oh, well, I'm just at Sandy Brockman on Instagram. It's Sandy Brockman, and I'm a coach at the Collective. So if they ever want to come take a tour or anything, they can message me, and I'll let them know how to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you so much.
And then we're gonna film you when you come work out.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds perfect.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Cheers, y'all.